I smelled smoke before I heard the laughter. Not the comforting scent of a busy bakery, but the acrid, biting smoke of insult. My father's voice echoed through the marble-floored dining room, cutting through the wedding brunch like a knife. "You don't belong here," he said, swirling his champagne. "Honestly, Abigail, you should have stayed home. You always embarrass us." I froze, plate halfway to my lips. My sister, Lila, scrolled through her phone, barely lifting her eyes. She was uploading a video of herself to Instagram, smiling, flawless, glowing, while I was left to absorb the humiliation. Every like on her post felt like another nail in my social coffin. I had spent years funding their lifestyle. My tips, my savings, even the profits from my small bakery, all of it secretly funneled into a life that treated me like an outsider. And yet, here I was, being scorned for being the daughter, the sister, the one who had given everything. "I can't," I muttered under my breath, gripping the edge of the table until my knuckles whitened. Lila laughed, soft and cruel. "Honestly, Abigail, you're lucky Dad even lets you bake. Some of us are busy living." I didn't answer. I had barely breathed. I only remembered the orders waiting in my little kitchen. The cakes I had promised my regulars, the chocolate soufflés cooling under glass domes, and how I had once dreamt of freedom beyond this toxic circus. That's when my father dropped the bomb. "Abigail," he said, voice silky with authority, "we've arranged a catering job for you. Big one. The Henderson Gala. Tomorrow night. Your skills could finally earn you respect. If you can manage." Respect. I almost laughed. After years of being treated like a charity case, after funding vacations, clothes, even Lila's brand, he dared to frame exploitation as opportunity. I can't take it," I said. "You can," he insisted. "And you will. We'll all be watching." The door slammed behind him when he left, leaving me in the echo of mockery. My mother emerged, a plastic smile glued to her face. "Don't make a scene," she said. "Family is everything. We just want you to fit in." I shook my head. Fit in? With a family that never saw me, never thanked me, and never wanted me? The thought curdled in my stomach like bad cream. I stepped out onto the balcony, letting the spring air wash over me, and that's when Jonathan appeared. Tall, confident, and impossibly calm, he had the look of someone who had mastered the art of observing chaos without participating. He held a small notebook and a steaming cup of coffee, the kind you couldn't order anywhere in this city. "Rough morning?" he asked. I blinked. "Who?" "I'm Jonathan. I hear things," he said with a faint smile. "And I help people who are being taken advantage of. If you'll let me." I laughed bitterly. "I don't need charity." "This isn't charity," he said, eyes steady. "It's business. And justice." He pulled out the notebook, flipped to a page full of numbers and invoices, and my heart sank. My father had been siphoning my bakery orders to another catering company, claiming contracts that were mine. Every opportunity one had, he had funneled to his friends, all while keeping me financially shackled to their whims. I felt a mix of fury and relief. Fury at the theft, relief at finally seeing the truth laid bare. "You can't keep letting them control you," Jonathan said. "You're more than their convenience, Abigail. And if you want, I can help you start over. On your terms." I stared at him, feeling the possibility of freedom for the first time in years. Tokyo. A flagship bakery. My dream. And then I smiled, a real smile that had nothing to do with social media likes or parental approval. "I'm done," I said softly. "I'm leaving." Jonathan nodded. "Let's make sure they never see you as theirs again." That night, I packed my essentials, closed the bakery doors I had poured my soul into, and felt the weight of a lifetime lift. The kitchen smelled of vanilla, sugar, and burnt resentment. I didn't look back. The last thing I heard from them was a text from Lila, dripping with faux innocence. "You'll regret this, Abby. Family always comes first." I deleted it. Family had already shown me where I stood. And it wasn't here. The city lights faded behind me as the plane took off. Tokyo awaited, with ovens that would never be used to feed greed and eyes that would appreciate the craft I had been hiding from the world. Tokyo smelled of rain on concrete and sizzling street food, a sharp, bright contrast to the stale arrogance I had left behind. The city's neon lights reflected off my luggage as I stepped out of Haneda Airport, and for the first time in years, I felt entirely untethered. Every hour spent baking, every late night kneading dough while my family sipped cocktails and took selfies, had been leading to this. I was finally going to claim my life and my craft on my terms. Jonathan met me at the terminal, calm as ever, briefcase in hand. His smile had the weight of experience and the promise of opportunity. "Welcome to Tokyo, Abigail. Your bakery awaits." I followed him through the streets, neon signs buzzing above, until we arrived at a small, traditional storefront tucked between a sushi bar and a tea house. The smell of fresh bread and caramelized sugar lingered in the air, inviting, grounding. This was going to be ours. Not my father's. Not Lila's. Not the family who had spent decades draining my ambition. Inside, the space was a blank canvas. Exposed brick walls, polished oak counters, a kitchen outfitted with high-end ovens and mixers. I ran my hands along the countertops, imagining chocolate soufflés rising perfectly, delicate croissants flaking just so. Every piece of equipment was a promise. Every blank wall a chance to build anew. "First, we'll start with branding," Jonathan said, handing me a tablet. "Your name, your style. This is your bakery, Abigail. Nobody else's rules apply here." I paused, watching the rain streak the windows. "It's strange," I admitted. "I've been so used to working for other people, or worse, for people who pretended to care but were only using me. Now, I get to work for me." Jonathan nodded. "You're not just baking desserts. You're reclaiming your life. That's rarer than any soufflé you'll ever perfect." We spent the first few days finalizing recipes, branding, and hiring a small team of local bakers. I insisted on meeting every applicant. Each one carried a spark, a love for the craft, a respect for diligence. I recognized myself in them. Slowly, the bakery began to breathe, not as a business forced into existence by my family's exploitation, but as a living, thriving reflection of my vision. Then came the first challenge. A Japanese investor, interested in expanding our flagship bakery, requested a private tasting. He was precise, exacting, and intimidating. Every plate of pastries, every detail of presentation was scrutinized. I realized that just as in Chicago, people would try to exploit any weakness they could see. But this time, I wasn't afraid. I plated a row of matcha eclairs, each one a delicate balance of bitterness and sweetness. He tasted, paused, and finally smiled. "Exceptional. You have precision and soul. I trust you." I felt a flicker of pride. Not the hollow kind my family had ever offered. Real pride. But news from home still lingered. Jonathan showed me a summary of my father's latest schemes. My old bakery's assets had been mismanaged. My family's social media empire had collapsed because of poor decisions, and Lila was left scrambling, publicly embarrassed. The message was clear. Severing ties had been the only way to survive. That night, as Tokyo glittered outside my window, I called Michael, not my brother, but a friend I had met during my previous business collaborations. "I can't believe how free I feel," I said. "I thought success meant making people proud. But really, it means being proud of yourself." He laughed softly. "You always knew how to rise above. You needed the right kitchen to do it." By the second week, the bakery had a following. Locals praised the croissants, expatriates shared photos online, and word of mouth brought curious tourists. The aroma of caramel and chocolate drew people from streets away, just as the thought of independence had drawn me here. One evening, as I was arranging a display of strawberry tarts, Jonathan appeared quietly in the doorway. "You did it," he said. "Not just the bakery. You did it for yourself." I smiled, letting my shoulders drop for the first time in years. It's strange. I never imagined freedom would taste this sweet. He laughed softly. "It tastes sweeter when it's earned, Abigail. And you earned it. Your family," he hesitated, "they don't define you anymore." I nodded. Tokyo lights reflected in the frosting on a tray of eclairs. I realized I had more than a bakery. I had a life built by my own hands, with integrity, creativity, and independence as its foundation. Weeks later, during a soft spring morning, the bakery held its first official grand opening. Journalists attended, Food critics wrote glowing reviews, and loyal customers lined the street. I stood in the center of it all, my hands dusted with flour, my heart light, and my soul unchained. I sent one last message to my old family. I wish you could see me now, not for what I funded for you, but for what I built for me. And in Tokyo, thousands of miles from the chains that had bound me, I realized, freedom isn't just walking away. Freedom is creating something so full of life and joy that no one can take it from you. The bakery thrummed like a heartbeat, and for the first time, I truly belonged to myself.